Theology course. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. This is part C of presentation 96, okay? Part C. So this is the third part. Hopefully this is the final part. Okay, this is the first lecture on Freemasonry. So let's finish that up. I do apologize for having to break it up, but you guys know I'm doing this between my responsibilities that I have to do on a daily basis, okay? So be patient. Be understanding. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys. The owner of this place is very kind to me. She got me a more comfortable chair. The thing about Vietnam is that many of the people are very hospitable, even beyond Southern hospitality that we like to boast about in North America, okay, in Morocco. So let's begin. We're going to pick back up on page 248. Page 248. We're at the third paragraph. Okay, third paragraph. So let's begin. The essential connection of convivial rather purposes. So convivial means to celebrate. Purposes or reasons to celebrate, to be merry. Occasions to be festive. Okay? But let's continue. Hold on. One moment. All right. Okay, so here we are. But the essential connection of convivial purposes and good carousing. So if you look up carousing, what you're going to find is that it means to enjoy something because you're drinking alcohol, right? To be in a group of people and talking loudly. Also, Bacchanalian, if I'm pronouncing that right. So it's referencing the god of Bacchus, the god of merriment, the god of wine, the god of orgies, okay? Orgies, okay? It also has in the definition bar hop, so bar hopping. So let's reread this. So the essential connection of being merry, of celebrating, of drinking as part of a celebration, of bacchanalian orgies, of entertainment. Let's continue back to the sentence. With the most mysterious solemnities of Masonry. In other words, they are mixing solemn, what they call holy, solemn rites and ceremonies. Rituals and ceremonies in worship of a deity mixed with drinking, excessive, drinking to get drunk, talking loudly, partying, and orgies. Okay? This is what the sentence says. All right, with the most mysterious solemnities of Masonry, identifies the institution. So that's how you can institution. That's how you can identify it, right? Through these festivals where they drink and, wild sex, wild parties, mixed in with religious rites and ceremonies. This is how you can identify it. How? Well, you go back and you check the Eleusinian mysteries. Go back and check, study, learn about the Bacchian mysteries, the Egyptian mysteries, the so-called Greco-Roman mysteries. You'll find all of this stuff there. That's the author's point. Beyond the emergence of a doubt, with all the ends and purposes of the mysterious orgies of the jolly God. So you'll find all of it. All of it. But what's distinctive here is that they're partying, getting drunk, using a lot of alcohol, having wild orgies, talking loud, okay, mixed in with religious worship. That's the point. That's the point. All right? That's the point. Okay? All of this is what? Clearly connected to the deities Dionysus and Bacchus. They're one and the same anyway. And the trick of speaking, listen y'all, the trick is a spell. The trick of speaking in a fee, fa, fi, fum. Y'all know the giants, fee, fi, fo, thumb. Y'all got that? Remember the other video, maybe 1 or 2 lessons ago? We talked about the different types of hybrids. Remember that? The giants, the Nephilim, right? The Raphaim, and then the Neanderthal, or the troglodytes. Remember that? And then the mixture between them. So it's very interesting that he uses this quote here that we recognize the speak of giants, fee, fi, fo, fum. The trick of speaking in a fee, fi, fo, fum sort of way, in my mind, I'm connecting that to Raphaim, to Nephilim, okay, to hybrids. Speaking in a fee, fi, fo, fum sort of way, which is mystical, right? What does fee, fi, fo, fum mean? It's mystical of what was really a simple affair. What simple affair? Just eating, having lunch, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. As the author continues, of what was really a simple affair, and rendering the most ordinary and innocent act of eating your supper. Rendering the most innocent act, such as eating dinner and washing it down with a comfortable swig of good wine afterwards, eating dinner and having a glass of wine afterward. They made, according to the author, a mighty to-do. They made a big deal out of, exaggerated it. They made a mighty to-do. Hold on. Listen to this, y'all. Now we are getting into the nuts and bolts of how they think and how they operate. So they made a mighty to-do. Why did they make a big thing out of eating and drinking? You eat dinner, you drink some wine, or you drink some water. Why did they make a big deal out of it? Here's why. The author tells us. We're on page 248. Why did they do that? Here's why. To frighten women and children. To frighten women and children. Now who's left in the churches, y'all? Why are they there? Of course they're seeking a benefit, but a lot of it is because they are afraid. right? Men tend to be less afraid about such things. All right? Why are they there? Well, according to the author, these rites and rituals, this whole religious game, is meant to frighten women and children. Those who are physically weaker, or the physically weakest among us, women and children. Some people say women are more given to emotion, so they would be more susceptible to be frightened, right? Y'all see that? All right. Was the pit, P-I-T-H means the center or the core reason, okay? Was the center or core of the secret of Freemasonry. In other words, the secret or the strength, the foundation of Freemasonry, toxic Freemasonry, the core element of Freemasonry, toxic Freemasonry, Freemasonry that is used to conquer the physical body and the mind. Nowadays it's used to conquer people through religion and through the financial system and through the so-called justice system. I'm speaking in terms of North America. What is the key or the core of it? Fear. Putting fear into who? Women and children. Now, make the connection, scholars. Make the connections. Who did the colonists target? Who did they seek to break to make their workload easier? They sought to break the woman, and the woman being broken, she would then break her masculine heir. From birth, he's already broken. Right? Where did they learn that? They learned that from what we taught them about how to raise horses. It's easier to let the mother train her babies. Right? So once you break the mother, let the mother train the babies, and then the mother will train them to be broken also. Y'all see it? So this is what they did. The core of Freemasonry, toxic Freemasonry, is to break or to frighten women and children. Why? So that when the masculine heirs become older, they're already broken. Just as the feminine heirs, already broken. Right? Right? And they carried this through the generations. They carried it up until now. Y'all look at the way the mothers raise their boys. Jaden Brown writes, hi, true. Islam and Shalawama, Jaden. That's what they do. Look at it. Look at the behavior and attitude today of the boys and the men. The men are so feminized in North America. You know, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame when you start hearing a man asking, what is a woman going to bring to the table? Well, a woman is not supposed to bring anything to the table. You're the man, and she's the woman. That's just basic gender roles. And you cannot... Hold on. These are immutable laws of nature. They're immutable laws of nature. You may philosophize about it, theorize, and all of this stuff, but in the practical world, in everyday life, it doesn't work. It does not work. That's why when you go to for example, Muslim countries, you see that their societies have order. And women are just as happy as they could be, except for those women who might be on the payroll to make trouble with feminism, to destroy their society from the inside, just like what happened in North America. Y'all see it? This is the insidious nature. This is the genocide, one of the genocidal tactics or strategies, rather, that they're using against Moroccans in North America and Moors all over the planet. It doesn't change. All right? Anyway, let's continue. The author says, the women never found out that religion, that the Freemasons were using religion to incite or to provoke, to incite fear in them and their children. They never found out. Why? The author continues. Here's why, y'all. Strong as their curiosity was, as strong as their curiosity about God. Hold on. See, as strong as their curiosity was about going to heaven, having a relationship with God, and all of this type of thing, their superstition, according to the author, was stronger. What superstition? You're going to burn in hell if you don't do this. If you don't believe, if you ask questions, you're going to burn in hell forever. Or you're going to die and have no opportunity for resurrection. Y'all see that? Or if you don't tithe, if you don't give money, you're going to have bad luck. My mother was a real big believer in bad luck. Okay? But she wasn't giving her money to the church. She was just a big believer in bad luck. Okay? I remember she used to say, that's why you always got bad luck. Not to me, but to other people. Right? And God don't like ugly. And mama for right. You know, that kind of stuff. My mother was from the South. All right? Anyway, the author continues. And it was never a discovery which anybody was ever proud of discovering. Listen. You're not, I'm not, we're not proud to discover, to find out that we've been in a religion for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years and been fooled, have been fooled all that time, have been fooled, not just fooled, and used. Not just used a little bit, but used and humiliated and suffered and sacrificed. That's a discovery that we're not proud to discover. Hopefully, in your lifetime, you will discover it. But that's something that makes you feel ashamed, embarrassed once you realize it. Let's continue. And it was never a discovery which anybody was ever proud of discovering, to discover how greatly he had been befooled. How greatly you've been fooled and how easily it was done. It was very easily. Yeah, you were greatly deceived. You adjusted your whole life around that religion. You gave money that you didn't have. You gave fiat that you didn't have. You gave energy that you didn't have. And you gave all your power. You gave your youth and your best to that religion. And nobody had to beg you to do it. You did it on your own. So you were easily fooled. How? Because your mama broke you. Your mama was operating off of fear. And she taught you that religion, made you go to church, made you go to the mosque, taught it to you, taught you to depend on God, wait on God. Well, God don't want, if you didn't get it, God didn't want you to have it. Okay, pray, gospel music, go to church 3-4 times a week, go to the Kingdom Hall 3-4 times a week, go out in the field service, door to door, on the street corner, go to camp, on the streets, right? Why? Fear. You're trying to avoid the vengeance of the deity. Do what the deity said to avoid vengeance, to avoid the wrath of the deity. Secondarily, because you love God. See, it was all done out of fear, and you were broken from birth. And you did all of that activity, all of that effort and sacrifice on your own. Nobody had to tell you. Right? Next paragraph. For very mortification. So mortification in this context, y'all, means self-denial, especially in religion or having to do with religion. Self-denial having to do with religion or anything that would make you feel ashamed or embarrassed. Yeah, this is very, very shameful. Makes you feel very much ashamed. It's very embarrassing, right? Y'all agree? Let's continue. For every mortification, for every thing that you did in religion, where you denied yourself, didn't pay a bill because you sent it in as a tithe, didn't go out and enjoy yourself or do something with your family because you chose to use that fiat, that finance, to give a tithe, that's self-denial. All right? Anytime you ended a relationship because of the religion or disagreement about religious doctrine, that's self-denial. Anytime you didn't eat something that you enjoy that's not bad for your health, okay, that's also a mortification. Anytime that you felt shame or embarrassed because of anything that you did or related to or that was done to you because of your being in that religion or trying to hold up the doctrine, that is a mortification. Okay? For very mortification, he who had been drawn in himself, I was drawn in. They came, Jehovah's Witnesses came knocking at my door. And I started studying. I was 16 years old at the most. Okay, so I was drawn in, right? I studied all their books. Literally, I studied all their books. Okay? Read many, if not most, of their magazines, the whole library. Okay? And they had a huge library. So I was drawn in. So for every mortification, he who had been drawn in himself. Yeah, it was me who studied. Nobody forced me to. Would lend his hand to draw in others. In other words, the student, the religious student, starts talking about the religion to other people. They start teaching other people. That's called evangelizing. So you become a student and then you begin to teach others, right? And from having been the dupe, okay, I was the dupe. I studied, I taught other people. I did it full time. Not the whole time I was in religion, but I did it full time for a portion of the time I was in religion. Okay? Why did I do it? Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know I was being used and fooled. So I was a dupe. Right? And me, just like you, especially you Hebrew Israelites, y'all going out in camp or y'all going out on the street talking to people, and you become in turn the agent of imposter. You become the agent of imposter. You are teaching others a lie. And you are helping to ruin their lives even further. by getting them to believe the lie and then to repeat the whole process that started with you. Okay? Let's continue back to the paragraph. The fox who had lost his tail, you know. So this is 1831 expression. Hold on. All right, y'all. Is it clear? So we learn things that are not true, just not with religion, but it can be any domain of knowledge. When you learn something and you don't learn it, you don't know it fully, not because you haven't studied everything, it's because there's information that you don't have available to you. Maybe some other author wrote it. Okay, but your religion is telling you don't read other people's stuff. And because of that, you suffer. And then you find out 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years later that they lied to you. You find out why? Because you get experience. You get wisdom. You get a broad base of experience, and then you realize that they were lying to me. I didn't see it because I trusted them. And I didn't have enough experience and enough exposure to the topic. Experience in life and enough exposure to the topic. I didn't look at enough sources, right? I looked at one source or two sources, the religion I used to be in, and let's say the Hebrew Israelite, whatever camp you're in now, or the Jehovah's Witnesses. You only looked at those two sources or three sources. You didn't look at even close to the entire body of work. So you got fooled. All right? I got fooled that way. Okay? Anyway, let's continue. The mysteries of Freemasonry are identically the same as those of Dionysia, or the mysteries of Bacchus. So the mysteries of Dionysus are the mysteries of Bacchus, the god of wine, right? Revelry, parties, loud talking, drunkenness, and orgies, sexual orgies. And consequently, an uncovering exposure and exposure of these mysteries. In other words, the author is saying, if you learn about the Dionysian mysteries, if you learn about the Bacchian mysteries, you'll learn everything there is to know about the mysteries of Freemasonry. Now, the mysteries of Freemasonry, y'all remember, that is the Jewish religion, the Egyptian mythologies or Egyptian religion, and Christianity. But you got to remember, Judaism is made up of Hinduism and a whole bunch of other stuff too. So if you learn these things, you learn all of the mysteries that the Freemasons claim to have. Y'all got it? All right? And consequently, of all the secret of mystery that is or ever was in the Masonic craft. Let me tell y'all ever heard of reverse engineering? Y'all ever heard of that? Reverse engineering? Huh? Remember when they claimed on the news, I forgot how, this was maybe 2-3 decades ago, I think, where a stealth fighter jet crashed in China, and then China took their time about giving it back. Well, what they were doing was reverse engineering. They looked at it and tried to figure out, how is it built? What are the engineering principles? What materials were being used, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So you take it apart. There was a Japanese company who did that. I don't know if it was with a motorbike or what, with an engine. They did something. They got a hold of a U.S. product, an engine or something, and they took it apart. They learned how it was built, the engineering principles that were used, and then they built their own, and they built it better. Okay? And then that was the beginning of Japan's economic ascension during the, was it this 70s and 80s? 70s and 80s and 90s. Okay, y'all? Let's continue. So this is what the author is saying we should do. We should reverse engineer the Egyptian, Jewish, Christian, and religions. We should reverse engineer the Dionysus or Bacchian mysteries if you want to learn the secrets of Freemasonry. All right? So now let's continue. And that Masonry, correctly understood, is the combined result of the ancient Egyptian and Jewish and Christian religions. They sprinkled in some Egyptian religion. They sprinkled in some Jewish religion. Know the difference between Jewish religion and the house or the nation, the bloodline of people who are not Jewish. Jewish is a religion. Jewish is a religion that's based upon doctrines. It's inclusive, regardless of your nation, regardless of your bloodline. All you need to do is accept the doctrines, rituals, and ceremonies and do them, right? Whereas a nation is exclusive. Only the bloodline people must be attached. It must be attached to a specific landmass. All right? They need to have a constitution, a common heritage, culture, etc. So for the house of Yasharallah or the bloodline people, or for the Moors, Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, it's what? Of course, the Most High's commandments, natural law. That only makes sense, right? That's only logical. Who can argue that? You need to live in harmony with nature. It was the Most High who created the universe, so therefore it stands to reason that all living things in the universe must live in harmony with the universe, okay? And that one of man's obligations is to learn natural law, learn how nature works. And upon learning how nature works, the highest laws, these are the Hermetic laws that govern the universe, to use higher laws against lesser laws. So in other words, you learn physics, right? You learn the medical sciences. You learn linguistics. These are the lesser laws. The higher laws would be those 7 Hermetic laws, right? That govern the material universe, or that govern the conscious universe. Y'all see it? All right? So you use higher law against lower law. So you serve on the higher laws, right? But you're master of the lower. So you can't do anything about the higher laws. You can only learn them. And then you learn how to use them. So you're serving on the higher and master or lord on the lower. In other words, dealing with the lower laws, which brings us to the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is the proper and full use of your mind. Let me say it again. The kingdom, Jesus Christ said, the kingdom of the heavens is within you. The kingdom of the heavens is within you. That's the proper use of all the faculties of your mind. That means you are neither left nor right brain hemisphere dominant. You're neither handicapped, you're not handicapped by being imbalanced on the logical side or imbalanced on the creative side of the brain. You have mastered the use of both hemispheres of your brain. Y'all got it? And visualization and feeling. Visualization, in other words, seeing something in your mind's eye, and feeling the feeling of success, or having it, doing it, being it, achieving it, etc. Those are the master keys to manifestation. This is the kingdom of heaven. Why is this the kingdom of heaven? Well, consider this. The only thing that you have complete, according to Napoleon Hill, that you have complete and unchallengeable, these are his words, complete and unchallengeable control over are your thoughts. And what is man? Man is thought made manifest from the land. Y'all see how it works? So that once you gain control over your mind, over your thoughts, now, you can do, be, and have whatever you want. You're no longer going out begging and working for it. Okay? You learn how to use your mind to command and demand it. In other words, to manifest it. You manifest your own reality consciously, although you're doing it right now, right? But you're doing it on the, most of us are doing it on the negative side because we've been conditioned and programmed to be in bondage, right? To be in need of begging a deity. All right? So we are not using our minds fully. This is why I like the silver method so much. The whole, well, not the whole key, but a big key to the game is learning how to transmute. This is the law. I know we've done this a million times, but y'all be patient. Maybe somebody's new or maybe you don't understand. This is the Hermetic law of polarity. Almost all of us are here in the lower self. All right? A big part of the game is learning how to transmute up from the lower self to the higher self, from being a devil and being in hell and Tommy, right? Lower self behavior, lower self thinking, transmuting, resurrecting yourself up to the higher self. What's the higher self? The higher self is the summer solstice. This is what? Where you become the Christ. The S-U-N, sun, is the S-O-N, sun. And you become Christ. You become Christ. All right? Now, you're Christ. This is the kingdom of the heavens. Remember? Aries, March 21, 22, marks the beginning of spring. All right, so the sun is dominating in the spring, meaning what that means is that there is unevenness. Let me rephrase that. At the spring equinox, there's evenness between the days and the nights. There's 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. After that day, there's unevenness. The number of daylight hours increases, okay, significantly until they peak at the summer solstice, June 21, June 22. Now, after that, after approximately June 24, 25 rather, the sun begins to fall. But it's still dominating. It's still dominating. It is not losing its power or energy, its dominance, until the autumn equinox. It's still 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night. So it continues to fall. So between the equinoxes, this is the royal arc. This is the kingdom of the heavens when the sun dominates. All right, y'all? June 21, 22, summer solstice. The next month, Lion of the tribe of Judah. Right? The raging lion of the tribe of Judah. The intense heat of the sun. All of this is done for the climactic point of the orgasm. If you look at it as a sexual act, the man, the woman, they have an orgasm. For the year, it is the harvest. Everything that happens during the year is for the climactic point called the harvest. All right, y'all? So this is the kingdom of the heavens. Your mind. But as above, so below. If you look at the law of polarity, here you're still a devil, still Satan, an opposer to God. God is Christ, right? According to religious doctrine. Here is the equinoctial points. spring, and autumn. So here it's about halfway up the line of polarity, or the solstitial line. Summer solstice, winter solstice. So if you draw a straight line across from the equinoxes through the solstices, it'll be right here. So this is about midway. Okay? So you're a devil and a Satan. Maybe a lot of y'all still are. Halfway up the solstitial line. Okay, you cross that line, you cross the equinoctial line, you're moving what? You're transmuting up toward the kingdom of the heavens. Y'all see that? All right. So once you get past this halfway point, it's all good, right? It's all good. You just got to make it up to the Christ. It's really simple, right? So a big part of the game is transmuting up. Now remember, from the devil to the Christ, this is what? Gradations or levels. All right? So once you cross that equinoctial line, you're out of the area of being a devil. Right? Now you're where? You're in the higher self area, but right in the middle, lukewarm. But if you're lukewarm, you're going to get spit out, right? According to Revelation. So you need to continue transmuting up. This is the resurrection. Anyway, where are we? Okay, so last paragraph. Let's go back to the text. Let me check the time, y'all. All right. Last paragraph of the text reads, and we're on the last sentence. And that Masonry correctly understood is the combined result of the ancient Egyptian and Jewish and Christian religions. You will learn. So we're going to hold the author to this. He's making a claim. He's going to teach us something. You will learn from demonstrations to be adduced. All right. So we're going to learn in these next several lectures by demonstration in due order and succession of these lessons. So we're going to learn this claim that he just made, that Freemasonry is a mixture of ancient Egyptian, Jewish, and Christian religions. From the present, 'tis matter worthy of your attention to carry home the correction of the general error. You Hebrew Israelites not going to like this. The correction of the general error, which supposes that there was ever a Hebrew nation. Now, of course, we all know that there was never a Hebrew nation. Hebrew is a culture, right? Or so they say. Hebrew is a culture, so they say, right? It is a corruption, right? It is a word, a corrupted word. But let's let the author continue. Also, Eber is a corrupted word because there is no E in Ancient Ibaryath, okay? So there never was, or there is not a Hebrew nation or a temporal kingdom of Jews. There's no kingdom of Jews that ever existed on earth. But we should know that because Jew is a religion. Jew cannot be a nation. By definition, it cannot be a nation. Jew is Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. It is a religion that has its origin during or shortly after Babylonian captivity. Jew is a religion. It is a organization, a club that you join. You become a member of. You become a member of it. That it has no constitution. There is no bloodline. Okay? Religions are inclusive. You can come from any country in the world, any nation in the world, rather. You can speak any language in the world. You can come from any heritage. and still become a member. So it is not a nation. A nation is a bloodline. We all brothers and cousins. Okay? In the immediate time, it would be your mom, dad, brother, sister, right? Cousins, uncles, aunts, and then seconds and thirds, and then the generation before them, and then all the way back. That's a nation attached to. Why I talked about this in A, B, and C of 96, this video. Okay, I'm not going to go back through it. Anyway, let's continue. These being not political or national, Hebrew and Jew is not political. They are not national, but entirely mystical and Masonic terms. Y'all, this is telling us that Jeremiah 8:8 is Masonic. In other words, the scribes who did this are Masons. This is what this is telling us. Those scribes who wrote lies, these are Freemasons. All right? Names, that is Jew and Hebrew, are names of the different degrees of gradation in the Masonic craft. Listen, y'all, different degrees of gradation. 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, high school diploma. First year college, second year college, associate degree. Third year college, fourth year college, bachelor's degree. Okay, master's degree, PhD, etc. All right? Different degrees of gradation in the Masonic craft. Note that Temple of Solomon, Sol, S-O-M, sun, Om, sun, An, sun. Sol, Om, An, that's three radicals. Three radicals all mean sun in three different languages. Sol, Om, An. Sol means sun in Latin. Om and An are Egyptian and Hindu, I believe. But I'll check it. I don't remember right now. But they all mean sun. Okay? S-U-N, sun. And y'all know that S-U-N, sun is S-O-N, sun, right? Keep that in mind for what's coming next. Look at what comes next, y'all. Look at what comes next. In which you also, as spiritual stones. So you are a spiritual stone. You're not a literal stone. You're a spiritual stone. In other words, pretend like you are a stone. Pretend like the Israelites are stones in an imaginary building we're calling Solomon's temple. This is what this is saying. Listen, the temple of Solomon, in which ye also as spiritual stones. That's saying imaginary stone. You are imaginary stones in a imaginary temple. Okay? In which you also are spiritual stones, are builded together for an habitation of God, of Zeus, through spirit. It's telling you all of it is imaginary. Spiritual means imaginary. It means you cannot see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it. You cannot experience it with your senses, so that means it is abstract. You can only experience it in your mind. That means it's imaginary. Okay? Is that clear? Let me check the time. All right. Next paragraph, page 249. In which series the Christian is the lowest. Now we're talking about the degrees Okay, the degrees of Freemasonry. In which series of degrees the Christian is the lowest, the Israelite next, the Jew next, the Hebrew next, and so on up through the gradations of those who, having passed, quote unquote, the middle wall of partition and been admitted within the veil. They have been admitted within the veil, are called Hebrews of the Hebrews, to martyrs or witnesses, autops or seers, prophets or tellers, saints, apostles, quote unquote, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, end quote. So Jesus Christ himself is the chief cornerstone. So that has to be what, y'all? What is this? This is a triangle. Where's the chief cornerstone? The chief cornerstone is this section that if you cut it off, you still have a triangle. Okay, y'all? That's the chief cornerstone in the triangle. It looks better this way. Y'all see the triangle there? All right? You cut that there, you still have a triangle, right? That's the chief cornerstone. That's Jesus Christ. And by the way, do you know that the origin of a pyramid comes from the sun shining down through a cloud? Did y'all know that? And that bright spot, this is the chief cornerstone, okay? And then below that, the sun rays, okay? So this is the sun shining through the clouds, and below that, the sun rays expand. I have a picture of it in the community post. There's your chief cornerstone. All right? And everything that goes along with that. Now let's continue. As you see in the 18th of Acts of the Apostles, that Apollos was a Jew. So in other words, Apollo held the degree of Jew in Freemasonry. Though born in Alexandria in Egypt, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures. So Apollos was not born in Israel, right? He was born in Egypt. Just as the author told us. This is a religious thing. It's a religious thing. Has nothing to do with nationality. It is a religious thing. Let's continue. But Paul, who was a Jew, notice the distinction here. But Paul, who was a Jew, though born in Tarsus, a city in Sicilia, was a Hebrew. So Paul held the degree of both Jew and Hebrew. It continues. But Paul, who was a Jew, though born at Tarsus, a city in Sicilia, was a Hebrew as well as a Jew. The higher dignity, the higher degree, always including the lower degree. And Paul the Hebrew therefore took Apollos the Jew and exposed to him and exposed to Apollos the way of God more perfectly. Well, absolutely, because Paul, having earned the Hebrew degree, had knowledge that Apollo didn't have. Apollo only held the Jew degree. So, for example, Paul had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, whereas Apollos only had a bachelor's. So Paul educated Apollos to get him started toward earning his master's degree. That's all it's saying. Therefore, Paul took Apollos, the Jew, and expounded to him the way of God more perfectly. Now, perfectly should Ring bells for you. Junie Connor writes, are you Indonesian? You look like it. No, I am a Moorish American. I'm indigenous. Well, I'm autochthonous to the Americas. All right? I'm an original American. Though Paul, so this word perfectly, y'all, this word perfectly, remember, that's Masonic, right? People who achieve the highest levels of the highest degrees of Freemasonry, they are called perfect men, eyewitnesses. All right, so my nativity is America. My nationality is Moorish American. All right. So my nation is the Moroccan Empire. For those of y'all who want to know. Let's continue. Though Paul himself had not reached the still higher degree of a quote unquote perfect one. Paul was not a perfect one. He hadn't reached that degree yet, but was proceeding through his degrees, following after, as he drolly describes it, quote, that he might apprehend that for which also he was apprehended of Christ Jesus. That's quoting from Philippians chapter 3, verse 12. So that's the end of the first lecture on Freemasonry. I hope y'all learned something. Especially do follow up research. There's really not much more I can say about this topic because I don't know anything about Freemasonry other than I'm reading. And I'm not a Freemason, never have been, never will be. Okay? All right, y'all? But just remember, Masonry is not bad in itself. It's the people it's those who have a debauched character that make it bad. Because Masonry is nothing but science. It's the science of nature. Okay? It's Ma Sun. Ma, M-A. We used to call my mother Ma. Ma Sun, Masonry. The science of nature. The science of natural law. Or the science of nature and nature's God. As is penned in the Declaration of Independence. Okay, y'all? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If you come across some pastors, I don't know if the brother wants me to say his name or not. I don't want to say his name because he hasn't given me permission. But there's a Hebrew Israelite brother who is an admitted ex-Freemason, and you should not think badly or make any type of negative comments about someone who used to be a Mason because you don't know them, right? And I only know this because I saw him on a video, and he had been talking about his experience in Freemasonry. But that doesn't make him a bad person just because he was once a Freemason. Him or anybody else. All right? What matters is what were you doing with that knowledge? Because there's nothing wrong with studying nature. Nothing wrong at all. Now, if it's somebody out here who's using nature, who's using science to harm people, that's a different story. Right? Freemasonry is nothing more in its modern expression by those who are in power. It's nothing more than a religion. It's a mystical religion, as we have learned. All right, Islam to all the Moors and Shalom. Thanks everyone for supporting me by buying my books. I appreciate that very much. If you want to, hold on a second. If you want to contribute, you want to send in Federal Reserve notes for my project to rewrite or to correct the Book of the Law, write it in modern English and Ancient Ibaryath to show you the original words, the original Ibaryath words, their etymological meanings, so on and so forth, the astrology and astrotheology that's there but hidden from you, also the natural laws or natural law principles or whatever you want to call it, and then the constitutional principles that are derived from nature. I'm going to show all of that. If you want to help get that done, you want to send in finance, my PayPal link is in the description area of this video. It's paypal.me/Zion Law School. Or you can send it in through my Patreon channel. Just go to patreon.com and search for Zion Law School. All right. Thanks everyone who's bought a new subscription, who's still subscribed to the one-on-one Ancient Ibaryath course. Everybody's welcome to attend the 506 Curses course, which is a Zoom class that I teach every Saturday at 10 a.m. All right. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to share this information with y'all. So I'll see y'all in about 12 to 24 hours. Islam to all the Moors and Shalom.